Hey everybody, welcome to Paladins University. This video is going to be a brief introduction about Paladins University, sort of what it is, what its objective is, and what it's going to cover. So starting off real quickly, the sort of purpose and objective of Paladins University, the reason I'm making this is because I want the Paladins esports scene to succeed. There's an old saying that says Overwatch is a casual game trying to be competitive, and Paladins is a competitive game trying to be casual. Paladins is built in this way that makes it really interesting and fun game to play and watch competitively, and so I really want it to succeed. So the goal for Paladins University then is to help it succeed by teaching about how the game is played at a top level. So this is intended to sort of improve the transition from a ranked player to a more competitive player, and at the same time improve the level of play that is being played at like the mid and top levels. Because quite frankly, currently, the Paladins, even the very top tier Paladins, as we just saw in the regional champions, the quality of play is actually very low for the top level or tier 1 scene in an esport. So then pretty much these videos are made for anybody who is involved in the Paladins esports scene or competitive scene, or anybody who wants to get involved with them. So whether you're a ranked player, a competitive player, even like something like a caster, you could probably learn quite a lot from this series, and it should help you get quite a better understanding of the game. Now it's important to know that this is mostly intended for the competitive format, so like a team of 5 players, but it will still sort of help you in rank, just not as much as it will with the actual competitive scene play, because it's mostly going to cover sort of macro game concepts that aren't as important or applicative to ranked play. Before we move into a brief overview of what I'm going to talk about in Paladins University, just a little bit about me so you're not taking it from some random dude on the internet. I go by Mackers or Big Lips McGee sometimes. I have both played and coached Paladins in the tier 1 scene. Mind you, the time that I played was around the formative years of Paladins. It was quite some time ago, although most recently I have coached in the PPC. So the way I've decided to structure Paladins University is to go over the basic fundamental building blocks of competitive Paladins. Now there's really only 2 of them, space and resources. So I'm going to do a video on each of them individually, going really into depth, pretty much covering everything you ever need to know about those 2 concepts. And then I'll also do at least one video on some of the applications of them, at least the fundamental applications. There's some like really key ones. And then any future videos will probably be something to do with space and resources, just applications of them further. Now you may be thinking like, wait, I'm a pro player or a very experienced player. I don't really need to know about these things because I already know the basic fundamental concepts, so this isn't really for me. But let me show you why these things are important for even pro players to really engage with. Why do you think it is that you start with the basics or fundamentals of something when you learn something new? Obviously, it's because nothing else would make sense without them. You can't really do like calculus, for example, without knowing algebra. But think about that for a second. Another way of saying that is you start with the basic concepts because everything else builds off of them. So the better your understanding of the basic concepts is, the better your understanding of literally everything else will also be. Someone in the top of their field is there because they have such a complete understanding of these basic concepts, these basic building blocks, and the experience to apply them to all sorts of situations. And this isn't some new idea. The smartest people in history have thought about mastery in this very way. Take Sun Tzu, for example, the author of the famous book, The Art of War. In The Art of War, he highlights how there are only so many musical notes, but there are more melodies than can probably ever be heard. There are only 3 primary colors, but combined, more hues than can ever be seen. And in battle, there are only 2 methods of attack, direct and indirect, yet these 2 in combination gave rise to an endless series of maneuver, as he says. If you understand the fundamentals flawlessly and how they work together, the applications are endless. But if you don't understand the fundamentals, or you don't understand them completely and fully, you're essentially just going to be taking shots in the dark, applying them in ways for which you don't exactly know how they work. The more you understand them, the better you can apply them, and the more success you will have with every aspect of the game. Okay, so I hope I've convinced you as to why these things are so important. The first video will be on space, which is probably the single most important thing for you to understand. The second one will be on resources, and then following that we'll do some more application videos. So thanks for watching, thanks for coming to this introduction and making it all the way through, and I will see you in the next video on space.